JJ the CPA here. Hope you're doing well. So we got some breaking news. Rob, thanks for the heads up. I'm here cranking out taxes, getting ready for the July 15th deadline, but the SBA just did a press release talking about how the EIDL advance has been given all out. It has been completely drawn empty, for lack of a better way of saying that. But the one thing to make sure we're all on the same page about is that the EIDL advance is the EIDG. It's the grant portion. The advance portion is that $1,000 per employee up to $10,000 that is given out while a EIDL is being considered. So there does seem to be some initial confusion, not by Rob, but there seems to be some initial confusion about this. I also think that it's maybe on purpose. There's a few people I think are putting videos out there, hoping you're gonna watch them. And quite frankly, there's one of the people that's putting out these videos and they literally don't know what they're talking about, including on this subject. So I wanted to do a quick video to let you know that even in the press release, the SBA made it clear that the EIDL is still giving out loans. It still has funds to loan out. So real quick, basically, when we're talking about the advance, the grant, that's what has been exhausted. So when you go to do the EIDL, that's the application that you would go directly to sba.gov and complete. You still can do that. There's still funds available to be loaned out. The economic injury disaster loan is that 30-year, 3.75, 12 months deferred payments loan. And they are giving those out for those that are injured economically. And the EIDL has been around for a long time. It didn't just come out of the coronavirus pandemic. And the EIDG has been around, but Congress had extended more money to it. And so $20 billion has been given out, which is phenomenal in terms of the amount of relief that's been provided. And so you can still go and apply for the EIDL. They're just indicating that if you apply now, you will not be able to get the grant or what's called the advance. And the way that that was designed is that for those that were having a disaster in their circumstances and they were applying for the economic injury disaster loan, there was this $10,000 that would be given out. Then things were progressing quickly with COVID, and that program that's been around started to have to limit the amount that went out. And so then it was $1,000 per employee with a maximum of $10,000. And the only way that you could actually get the grant, the advance, was to apply for the loan. So there was probably a number of individuals, small businesses that were applying for the EIDL thinking they were only applying for that $10,000 or the $1,000 per employee up to 10 employees. But it's always been one application. And when you're applying for the EIDL, you check a box to say you'd like to be considered for the grant. So for those that haven't applied yet, you can still apply for the economic injury disaster loan, still at sba.gov. It's the only place that you go to get that loan. It's 3.75%, like I said, over 30 years. And it is a loan. There's no forgiveness to it. And it is something that you can pay off early with no prepayment penalty. I have advised clients that if they qualify for it, they meet the circumstances to qualify for that go ahead and get it. You can always pay it back. It's good to have that as a cushion. I've done a couple of videos talking about how it would be good to have some kind of cushion, as I believe credit will become less available, just as it has historically happened with banks as things are progressing in a direction where we'll unfortunately have businesses that are going out of business and real estate that's going to go, bankrupt, go to foreclosure. And so the banks are going to have less reserves. They're not going to be able to lend out as much. And so for those that have circumstances where they're relying on credit, an EIDL could be a good alternative. But know this, that the economic injury disaster loan is still available. You can still go and apply for it. It's just that the grant, the advance, the amount that you would get and not have to pay back, that is no longer available. Now, the SBA did indicate that for those that have already put in their loan, that the grant is still being considered for those applications. And remember this, that the grant is not guaranteed to be given just because you applied for the loan. And you may get the grant, the advance, same thing, and not get the loan. You may get the loan and not get the grant or advance. Just know this, if you've already applied, you're in the mix. And I know that the SBA took down their website for maintenance, and I think part of that maintenance, I had a hunch about it, but I think part of that maintenance is they're now having to update the application, which would be simply taking away that question, indicating, would you like to be considered for the grant, because it's no longer available. So the EIDL is alive and well. I think for those that are needing the EIDL, quite frankly, the grant was a very small portion of the consideration to actually go and get the EIDL, given that it's $1,000 per employee, max 10 employees, meaning max $10,000. So it's not yielding, or wasn't when it was open, as much as it used to before we went into COVID. So with PPP, we know, just as a side note, that it is still available until August 8th. So you can still apply for that. You still do that at the banks. You do the EIDL at the SBA. But this now is one of the relief programs that is no longer available, meaning we had available to us the EIDL grant, but we still have available the PPP, the EIDL, and the PUA. So take this a little bit as a signal that if you're needing this relief, any of it, if you're foreseeing that you may need this relief, get in there and get the relief. It's not just going to be here forever. And hopefully you don't need the relief, but if you do, go get it. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then I'll just say this. I don't even know if I've ever said this in a video, but just be mindful of who it is that you're getting your information from on YouTube, okay? And it's not even trying to be a knock, but I'm just really disappointed tonight in one of the videos that I came across, because all it's doing is trying to create fear and be sensational to try and get views. And I think that that's deplorable. I think it's disgusting, especially in the time of a pandemic. So in my opinion, the advance going away is not really a big deal, because if you're needing that loan, the advance is a very small consideration or a very small portion of that. And with all due respect to those that may now feel like they've been slighted in the sense of, oh gosh, now it's not available to me. Well, you had plenty of time to apply, and all I would then say to you, more as an encouragement, that you can't feel slighted. It was available to you. You didn't go get it. So if you're now feeling slighted, hear me on this, if you're feeling slighted, that probably means that you need the relief, but for whatever reason you haven't gotten around to getting it. So go get it. All right, hey, JJ the CPA here for you. 27 years of experience. I'm a practicing CPA, working with clients, working with individuals just like you. My videos are encompassed around what I'm talking to my own clients about, and then sharing here in these videos on a wide array of issues related to money and running a business, and all the things that I'm talking to my clients about, I'm sharing with you all. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. If you haven't, I'd love it. Be on my subscriber list. I promise it'll be worth it. All right, hey, don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. All right, hey, have a great one.